A ship leaves port on a bearing of 43 degrees and travels 10.6 miles. The ship then turns due east and travels 3.7 miles. How far is the ship from port, and what is the bearing from port? To solve this, let's start with a picture. So we know the bearing, which means that we go 43 degrees to the right here, is 43 degrees. So from port, so let's call this the port, the beginning. The ship is traveling 43 degrees along this line. So it travels 10.6 miles. Then the ship turns due east. So this way's east. 3.7 miles. So this is the ship now. How far is the ship from the port? So they want to know this distance right there. To solve this, we need one angle inside. So if I draw a vertical line, continue with this line here, I know this angle right here is 43 degrees also. So this angle right here is 90 minus 43 degrees, which is 47 degrees. Since this angle right here is 180, we know the angle right here is 180 minus 47, which is 133 degrees. So let's call that angle D. We know that D is equal to 133 degrees. So I'm going to use law of cosines. Let's call this A, let's call this B, just to label this. We know that D squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of the angle D across from the D. So that's why I had to find out that angle, 133 degrees. So what do we know? We know that D squared equals A squared plus B squared cosine of the angle in between. I forgot to plug in for A or B, so A is 10.6, B is 3.7, so I'm going to evaluate the right-hand side. D squared equals 179.54, and it goes on. Best not to round to the end, so if we take the square root of both sides, we get D is equal to approximately 13. They asked us, if I continue on here, they asked us to round to the nearest tenth of a mile, so D is approximately 13.4 miles. Now, they also ask, what is the bearing from the port? Which means we need to find this angle right here in red across from the B. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to say call this B, and we know we could use law of sines now, that sine of B over B equals sine of D over little d. So what does this imply? This means sine of B, which is what we're looking for, over little b. Little b we know is 3.7 equals sine of D. D we know is 133 degrees over little d, which we just found is 13.4. Now solving for sine of b by multiplying both sides by 3.7, you get sine of b equals 3.7 sine of 133 degrees over 13.4. Figuring this out, you get this is approximately equal to 0.20194 and so forth. Try not to round. Now taking sine inverse of this number, we see that B is approximately 11.65 degrees. So if we add that, 43, plus, let's just say 12, round that, approximately 12 degrees, that would be 45 degrees. Or if they ask you to round to the nearest tenth like before, you would add the 43 plus 11, 6.5. You can see you would get 44.7 degrees approximately. That would be the bearing. Hope that helps.